Good evening. You're listening to The Median Man. It's the 11th of October 2019. On today's show, we will be discussing the following: why this channel has been created and what The Median Man is, a brief discussion of S&M 2 by Metallica, and a brief review of 3 albums which are out today via Frontiers Music. So, let's get started. What is The Median Man? The Median Man is a music site which reviews albums and gigs and also provides interviews with musicians from across the various genres that make up metal music, as well as various genres that make up the music world. The Median Man started off as a way for me, the Median Man, to get into my interest and to basically do what I've always wanted to do, which is speak to musicians I have grown up idolizing, and also to explore new music, because who doesn't love listening to new music and discovering new music? This YouTube channel has been created because there are some things which can't go on a website because of restrictions, memory restrictions, or it would just look too weird to go on the website. Therefore, anything that I think, or that you, my lovely listeners or viewers, when I get a proper video camera, or rather use the video camera I have, sorry, don't want my dad to have a go at me there, will basically go on the YouTube channel. This could be videos of gigs and performances that I do, or go to rather, and it could also be in video interviews with bands or individual music artists, or just general discussions with music fans as well. So let's move on to the business end of this brief video clip today. So, on the 9th of October, Metallica released S&M 2, that's the San Francisco Orchestra with Metallica, 20 years after they did their first performance together. That was done in Berklee College Hall. This has been done at the Chase Center. It was the first ever performance at the Chase Center and was its grand opening. The decision to film it, I think, was a wise decision, because if you read the news articles on the gig, tickets were apparently priced at some ridiculous amount, a couple of $1,000s, which, you know, your average music fan probably couldn't or wasn't willing to splash out for you know, this sort of thing. So filming it and broadcasting it into cinemas on the 9th of October was a particularly smart idea from the guys in Metallica. Thank you, Lars, for that. You know, watching the actual performance, as I say in my review, which you can find on The Median Man, that's themedianman.com / Metallica S&M 2. I think you can really see just how passionate the guys are and just how well they click with the orchestra. There's a lot of going backwards and forwards between them. The conductor looks a bit like Christian Bale, which is fascinating, and you know, it's quite fun, because usually classical music is seen as being quite stiff and quite upper class and not really knowing how to groove, which, you know, is an unfair stereotype, because they can groove, and as they show through songs such as Master of Puppets, Wherever I May Roam, the opening to The Day That Never Comes, which is a highlight of mine, and of course James Hetfield and the orchestra doing Unforgiven 3 is simply phenomenal. If this comes out on DVD or Blu-ray, you have to get it if you're a metal fan, or even if you're not, because why wouldn't you want to see one of the greatest bands perform with one of the greatest orchestras to have ever existed? You'd have to be mad not to. And then, of course, you know, there is a particular poignancy to it, because this was the last gig that James Hetfield, the lead singer of Metallica, did before he entered rehab. Given the sort of historical parallels that some have drawn between the last time this happened and then Hetfield going into rehab in 2001, there has been some concern as to whether or not a similar hiatus is coming from Metallica. But really, I think such speculation is not needed right now, especially after Lars Ulrich announced that they're performing at a series of festivals next year. So clearly something is going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. But anyway, let's not speculate there. Let's move on to the 3 albums which are coming out, or rather which have been released today. Those 3 albums are The Ferryman, A New Evil, Vanden Plas, The Ghost Experiment, and Michael Sweet. Yes, Michael Sweet from the band Stryper has released a solo album entitled 10. Very imaginative. These albums are actually very unique in the way they're structured. The Ferryman, A New Evil is kind of classic heavy metal from the 80s, very much sort of taking that tint of Iron Maiden class with Halloween and putting it all together and putting it out there in a sort of narrative. And you get this the sense as a listener that there is a story being interwoven within the music. With Michael Sweet's 10, it's just classic heavy metal. I could actually picture this being released in the 80s by Stryper. Of course, there's a little dint of more modernity there with some of the songs, which is quite unique, quite flavoursome as well. And then there's Van den Plas with the Ghost Experiment, which is actually a very interesting album. It's sort of a follow-up to the Chronicles of the Immortals, which was a two-part epic album that the band had released previously. It diverges, it twists, it turns, and it goes to various different places. So these three albums are definitely worth checking out. They're out via Frontiers Music today. So if you're out in the town tomorrow, go to your HMV, maybe buy it there, keep HMV going, or go to iTunes or Spotify or wherever you buy music. Be sure to follow me and on Instagram at The Median Man, on Facebook also at The Median Man, and of course you can check out my website at themedianman.com. Thank you.